This is Kanzenshuu, the podcast, episode 356 for the week of February 23rd, 2014. Whoa! What up, heroes? Welcome to a Kanzenshuu.
The podcast?
An extent... Why are you questioning that? An extension
Because we haven't had one in so long.
The all-encompassing Dragon Ball fan site.
Kanzenshuu.
That's right, we cover anything and everything Dragon Ball in hopes of enlightening and a little bit of entertaining. As one Mr. Iron Man once said, it is good to be back. Hello, Heath, Mr. Hujio, sir.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yes. We actually attempted this, twice?
I feel like I've been trying to do a show a few times over the last few weeks, and work and sickness and family stuff and just...
We were 5 minutes away from doing one last week.
It's all good. So we got you. That leaves me, Mike, Vegito, E to the X. Hi.
Hi.
You want to talk about Dragon Ball?
I came prepared for other things, but if you want to do that...
Well, what are you prepared for? You got nothing. I know you got nothing. Dude, February 2014. Is this really real? Is this Dragon Ball in the modern era for reals?
You're going to wake up tomorrow and it's all going to have been a dream.
I certainly hope so. Hi, it's wonderful to be back. Here we are, episode, 356 of the show. You are indeed coming into the show with brand new recap music. Yes, so episodes 1 through 199, we used, well, I was going to say prologue and subtitle, but we only used prologue. Prologue 1 from DBZ, and then 200 to 291, we used prologue 2 from a DBZ, and then at 292 we switched over to the Dragon Ball GT prologue music. And so here we are, 356, 64 episodes after that. Where would we go? Well, the timing just seems to work out so wonderfully. The announcement of the re-continuation of Dragon Ball Kai. Here we are with Yamamoto Kai recap music.
Well, you have to.
You have to. You absolutely have to.
There's no one out there like my man Yamamoto.
Now, Heath, a lot of people asked, and this is actually why I didn't start this way, the original Dragon Ball TV series didn't have a set standard every single episode recap music.
That is correct.
So, that's why.
And it actually, it really evolved throughout the beginning of the series.
Yeah, it totally did. Yeah.
Even just the very first episode, they didn't really have everything set the way they wanted it to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's kind of neat to see those things. Like even in, the episode 200 of Dragon Ball Z. They still didn't have things set. The eye catch jingle is different. And yeah, it's really fun to see some of those things as they're like, oh crap, we gotta switch this over, but we only have a week to do it.
And the eye catch there, starting out the Buu arc, it would start and end on different frames and carry over longer than other times until it kind of gets standardized. And, going back to the first TV series, I think back, this is pretty standard, but it's something different. They did all the Tenkaichi Budokai episodes. The title card would have the special title card.
The gong.
Yep. Very cool stuff. Dragon Ball is a cool series. And so we gather, let's say, weekly to talk about it here,
let's say,
in your ears on the internet. Heath, man, I just said February has been crazy.
I know, it's 1989 all over again.
You would think so from the monumental news that is coming out. There has been just too much news for us to cover all the little things. I'm trying to think of what some of the little stories are. I mean, even J-Stars is almost a little story compared to some of these other things. So,
well, I go in and I keep seeing all these news drafts pop up, and then I'm looking at them and like some are 2 weeks old, and some of them are a week old, and it's just like, oh yeah, that happened, and then something else happened, and we forgot about it.
I never forget about them, but other things just get too important and too soon. And
there is one in there from 2012.
There totally is.
I believe we should publish that.
No, I don't want to. Are you talking about the music one?
Yes.
Yep. I think I started writing that during a slow week, and then as soon as you think it's a slow week, boom. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So we'll
go with that.
We'll toss that out. So Heath, you and I, we will cover some of the biggest news stories pretty much over the course of the entire February here. Theoretically, our topic we might do, we'll see if we get to it. That's talking a little bit about Viz's first print edition of the full color comic, the Saiyan Arc Volume 1. I actually just published my written review today. We may or may may not get to that this episode. I'm kind of leaning toward not, just because we have so much to talk about, and Kai is part of that, and that's going to be a larger news dissection. So we definitely have news. We definitely have Who's That Character, and we have a bunch of website stuff to talk about, projects that have been posted and may be coming soon. So we do actually have kind of a full episode. We even have your feedback about Kai right now. Man, let's...
it's going to be nice.
Let's jump into it, dude.
Let's do it.
I kind of want to start with this one because this is something that we're pretty much the only ones doing out there in terms of Dragon Ball and financial analysis. And I think that it's one of our strengths that really helped us a couple weeks ago with the Toriko and Dragon Ball Kai article that we put up.
It's one of those things that, as boring as it sounds, and as boring as it is to actually just go and look at all the numbers, it can tell you so much of what's going on more behind the scenes than what they're willing to just blatantly come out and tell you.
You know, it's very different doing the Japanese side of things too, because these are all public companies and they have to report on things.
Right.
We had Funimation under Navarre for a while, and I feel like that was the only short period of time where we could talk about financial stuff and make predictions and analysis that seemed like it would come true, because we were actually making predictions based on solid numbers. Now that they're a private company again, we don't know what the fuck is going on, and we can never call what it is that happens with Funimation. Whereas with Toei and Bandai Namco, now the formal name switch going on, I feel like we can really look at these numbers and say, yeah, this is where they're heading, and this is probably what's going to happen. And if you have any business sense, and if they have any business sense, and you hope they do, usually they're in sync. So the most recent thing we covered, I thought it was quarter 2, it's actually quarter 3 fiscal 2014 figures from Bandai Namco. So yeah, they made money. You expect that. So I want to talk about Dragon Ball here, of course. Dragon Ball is back on that top performing list. The thing is, they've expanded that top performing list.
Yes.
It used to be 5. Sometimes they would only do 4, but they expanded it. It's at number 6 here. Dragon Ball overall for Bandai Namco brought in 7.3 billion yen the 9 months of the fiscal year. They're projecting 11.7, which is a jump from last year's 8.9, but actually just about even with 2 years ago, 11.8. So they're projecting 11.7, up from 8.9, about equal a year before that with 11.8. Heath, what are you kind of attributing this to? Because, you know, we look at these toys and hobby merchandise numbers here. This is the non-video game stuff. It did 4.9 billion. They're forecasting 6 for the year, which is a jump over both previous years. So something we've talked about for years. You put Dragon Ball Kai on TV, things dip. You take it away, suddenly the toys and the hobby stuff goes back up. What's going on? We got Kai coming back to TV. Can we expect number dips?
I'm scared. I think a lot of it has to do with Battle of Gods.
You think Battle of Gods? How about Heroes?
Well, yeah, that too. That definitely falls under this category. Will it drop? Gosh, I don't know. Probably. If I feel like, especially for Bandai, that it's more cyclical. We'll get an up year, it goes down, then it comes back up the next year.
Totally.
And it just kind of goes like that, especially depending on when a video game was released, if there was one. For the franchise. But when you have a huge movie like that tied in with Dragon Ball Heroes and a video game, I could definitely see it go up.
I think Heroes is really important because Dragon Ball Kai didn't have Heroes. We had Dragon Battlers, and before that, Bakuretsu Impact, and all the various games there.
All the Dragon Battlers cards that I got with all the releases. It's like, what do I do with these?
I know. You're probably the wrong person to ask. Can you use the Dragon Battlers cards in Heroes? Probably not.
I doubt it.
Yeah, what the hell do you do?
And those are actually still Dragon Ball Kai.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
Which is always kind of funny because for the longest time, even after it ended, I would see the logo out there. What the hell are they still using Kai for?
I know.
Oh, it's Battlers.
Right.
Okay.
Or they would put both logos, like there'd be a Kai logo and a Z logo. I think that was on like the Raging Blast game. So
we'll definitely keep an eye on it this year because I am really curious to see what happens when Kai comes back out.
Yep.
And I'm definitely curious to see what kind of merchandising we get. Are they going to attack it a little differently than they did last time?
You know, this is one of the stories that I felt wasn't really important enough to put in the lineup here, but the Capsule R figures, perfectly timed. The Boo Arc figures coming a little bit later, I think in June they're due out.
And I think we'll kind of see a lot of that.
So you think they'll do kind of this soft merchandising around Kai? Because that's what it feels like, but it's still such a recent announcement that, I mean, we don't even have a full website yet.
I think so. And I also think that when they do start releasing a little more merchandise, not only will we see a Kai logo, but we will also see a Z logo with it.
I agree.
Possibly with a tie-in with Battle of Gods.
Yeah.
Since it is so recent and was fairly popular in Japan.
Yep.
So I don't know. We'll kind of keep an eye on it because I'm really curious what they're going to do. I'm sure they've really brainstormed this.
One would
considering where we came from, a lot of people never thought it would see the light of broadcast television in Japan.
I sure hear you. All right, so since we're talking about Bandai Namco, I'm going to hit up a couple quick Battle of Z stories, and I'll turn it over to you for Jaco. But in terms of Battle of Z, it was pretty much the standard release cycle for a Dragon Ball game in Japan, where it comes out, does a pretty good first week, sells about half that the second week, and then it's off the chart on the third week. I mean, that is exactly what you see with these games. So after the second week, which is, again, all we can go back to, the PS3 version in Japan is up to a little over 38,000 copies. The Vita version was doing pretty well. That was down on the lower side of the chart. 360 version, Japan, lols, you're never going to see that chart there in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it did tens of copies. We don't get these great, perfect, exact numbers over here with the NPD figures in North America, and the NPD figures have just been retracted more and more and more with those subscriptions. You really don't get solid numbers, and Dragon Ball is never going to be on an NPD list. So we mostly track the Japanese numbers. That's where we're at. In terms of other Battle of Z stuff, Heath, I've actually been playing Battle of Z more on the Vita than I have on the PS3. It's
really,
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it does a pretty good job as a pick up and play a round or two kind of game. And to be able to keep the Vita just in sleep mode with Battle of Z just constantly loaded, because memory's finally done with Persona 4. So I get the Vita back. So I can just keep it in sleep mode on Battle of Z. You know, I pick it up, I do a couple rounds. I did the, was it the 10 minutes or the 150 Frieza Soldier A's the other day. I mean, you do a few of those, and I've been enjoying it on the Vita. And I'd say there's two, and we're going to have a full review on the game at some point, but two downfalls on the Vita to me is it does have a little bit of slowdown when things get a little hectic, and it's dub only. But apparently that last issue is going to be addressed. The UK branch of Bandai Namco, the tweet here, we're happy to announce that there will be an incoming update to Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z for PS Vita to include Japanese voices. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the North American branch was like, looking into it. Stay tuned. So we hopefully can, I think they kind of got caught by surprise. Maybe the European branch is digging into things and announcing it ahead of everyone else. But I'm pretty psyched for that. There's only so much body don't fail me, body don't fail me, body don't fail me that I can take.
Yeah.
I need my cast. I really do. So I'm really looking forward to that. Super strange that they did not include the Japanese voice cast, because the file size is not extravagant over on the Vita. So I'm not sure what was up there, but I really got to get myself a bigger memory card. I think I'm finally going to import the 64 gig one. Just going to bite the bullet and do it. I was talking to Mary, and I'm like, oh, you know, I got a Best Buy gift card. Maybe I'll just get the 32 gig. And she looks at me and she goes, you know, you're not going to be happy unless you get the biggest one. Like, this is why you're my wife, because you know me better. So
you should always go for that.
Yep. So we'll keep you posted on that. The only other thing I want to talk about is S Shadow 5001. I don't know how he wants to pronounce that. Maybe it's Shadow 5001.
It's a Shadow.
So the way that systems handle installs and DLC and all that stuff can be different from region to region.
Right.
Apparently, the DLC for the Japanese version of Battle of Z on the Xbox 360 will work with the European Battle of Z. So Super Vegito and Super Saiyan Bardock showed up there. They're for sale in Japan at 300 yen a pop. So if you're on 360, you might want to try around and see if you can get those working, because right now it's looking like, no, they're not going to sell them. I can confirm that does not work so much that way over on PS3. DLC is much more region restricted over there.
Yes.
So I did notice that you actually get both the PS3 and the Vita versions of the downloads over there. So if you're on the Sony ecosystem, you at least get that nice little bonus there.
Yeah, Sony is all about region locking.
They're up and down with that. It's the digital stuff is far more so. I mean, with Microsoft, it's like no one's buying it over in Japan anyway, so they don't really care. Like they only have your 300 yen to gain. So that's it for Battle of Z. Kieran, I know he was sick this week. I was hoping to do a full review for a while now, but for me, I've been enjoying I want to save my thoughts because I have a lot of thoughts on it. I've been enjoying the game.
What you're saying is it's not Final Fantasy.
It's not Final Fantasy 14, and also Bravely Default came out, and I'm like, sorry, Dragon Ball. RPGs.
Gots to have my RPGs.
Heath, talk to me about Jaco a little bit.
Well, there's this vomic thing.
You know, Tanuki says it every time, and I think it every time.
Because you can't say vomic without thinking of vomit. I'm sorry.
All right, so quick recap. What is this vomic?
A vomic is a voiced comic, and like all great Japanese words, they like to take them and just combine them into one to make it easier to pronounce, supposedly.
Yeah, let's say that.
And then we translate it back into English, and it sounds an awful lot like a word that we use for something else. And
yes.
So that is where vomit comes from. Basically, it is the comic, and in this case, fully colored. And they have a voice cast that goes with it that basically just reads the lines. The panels come in, they go out.
Some dialogue bubbles pop up sometimes.
Yep. It's very nice. I mean, they do a much better job than I thought they would. As far as impressed. How panels are different sizes and characters are placed in them differently, and they do actually a really good job of keeping everything nicely in frame.
It's exactly what I would do too, where it's kind of a slow pan over a longer one, and then maybe a horizontal one will pop up or a vertical one, and they kind of swipe them across. It's pretty good. I'm impressed for what it is.
And so let's see, these first started coming out at the beginning of the month.
Yeah. We're on the third one, and they've been doing them weekly.
So like February 7th or 8th was when the first one came out. And yeah, we've been doing one weekly, so we're up to the third one now. 11 chapters. Will we get there?
Well, they've promised 4, and the 4th one's due out in a couple days. It'll be this week. I think the 28th. I'm pretty sure it's 7/14, 21, 28th that these are coming out. Like a lot of people said, like, there's no voice listed for Tights. And there's some reasons why that may have been, but we're not seeing voices for, other than Tights. I feel like everyone's kind of covered. You get Katayude in there, but they're moving pretty slow. I mean, we only just wrapped up chapter 1.
I know. I feel that they really broke it apart. Kind of weird.
Yeah, it was a little strange.
I guess it works, especially if you just get them all and then you just watch them back to back to back,
which has been fun.
So I'm interested to see where this goes. It's definitely one of the first times I've actually paid attention to a vomic.
I agree.
I know they've had them out for quite a while, but they usually don't do too many major series or anything like that because it would just be ungodly long, and you already have an anime adaptation.
Well, that's the thing.
Usually,
like Naruto has an anime. Jaco does not. Heath, Jaco, the Dragon Ball prequel.
Yes.
By the way, we're finally getting some more details about its collected home release, although we're still kind of in the dark. But that's par for the course of Dragon Ball stuff.
Of course. It's also on par for Shueisha.
Yeah.
So, but yes, originally we were supposed to get something, was it January?
Yeah, January.
And somebody looked into it. Turns out, hey, it's going to come out in April. And lo and behold, it will officially come out April 4th, 2014, the 2 days before Kai.
Yeah, it's a busy time.
Everything seems to revolve around Toriyama's birthday of April 5th, I feel like. But anyway, there will be a regular edition, which will come out for 440 yen, or you can get the Super Elite version, which will have special packaging. That'll be 980 yen with tax. And this Super Elite edition will also come with 3 extravagant must-have special items.
Please tell me what they are. I cannot contain my excitement.
I know, right? We will get an alternate reality postcard.
Oh.
You wanted that. We'll also get a Jaco rubber key holder.
You can make sure you say that last word there. Okay.
And last but not least.
Yes.
A Super Elite.
Okay.
Badge.
I'm genuinely excited about that because I'm a 10-year-old boy.
Because I really want that badge, and I will wear it to work. If somebody sends me a badge.
Jake can officially finally be a true, real member of the Galactic Patrol, not just in name only.
Super elite.
He will be. Are you worried that the extra material, such as Gine, and by the way, that is how you pronounce the name, will be exclusive to the super elite version? You think it's going to be in both? What do you think?
I don't know. I have a feeling that it's going to be in both.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
My feeling, especially knowing Shueisha, they are not going to print two different versions of something if they don't have to.
Right.
So I imagine the printed copies will be identical in pretty much every way, except one will possibly have a different dust jacket than the other.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And one will come with all these special things. My interpretation is that the super elite is just so you can get these 3 childish
bonus
items.
Things, yeah. I just realized I'm probably going to buy both.
I know. I planned on it.
April 4th is a busy day. We got the Jaco coming out, the regular and the limited. We have Dragon Ball SD Volume 2, the collected edition, coming out that day. And we also have the first 3 volumes of the Artificial Humans and Cell full color comic from Shueisha, which we're going to talk about shortly here. It's a big day. And then Kai's like right then.
Happy birthday, Toriyama.
Here's a bunch of shit you didn't do.
Yep.
Well, he did Jaco.
Well, yeah. And I'm sure he'll get a nice check for it.
He will. So speaking of Viz and full color stuff, not speaking of Viz, but about to speak of Viz, I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure my prediction was that Viz would stick through to the end of the Frieza arc in their weekly Shonen Jump. Was it you that said they're going to wrap it up with the Saiyan arc? I know you weren't on the predictions episode itself.
No, that was not me.
Julian was on. I think he may have said this, but I can't remember if you and I were talking about it.
If I said it, it was what I typed, and I don't believe I made that prediction.
Someone did. Several people did. And those people were correct. Viz has now canceled isn't the right word, but they've taken the full color version out of their digital weekly Shonen Jump. It will now continue as print only. So it did get through the entire Saiyan arc.
Yeah, I would just kind of consider it a promotional run.
It sort of was. Yeah, and it was always in the back, which kind of infers low popularity.
Or it's not what they're pushing.
Yeah. So they will continue print only. We now have the first print edition, and it covers a lot of that material. There's going to be 3 Saiyan arcs. We know the numbering based on the Japanese release. Saiyan arc was 3 print volumes, and then the Frieza arc was 5 print volumes. And Viz will just be continuing onward. Volume 2 is due out April 1st, so right around the time as a bunch of other Japanese stuff. And then Volume 3 is due out June 3rd. Then hopefully we'll move into Frieza after that. And that kind of ties in nicely with, all right, well, what about the rest of it? Because in Japan, they put those out, and that was kind of it. They did the entire rest of the series digitally.
Yes, they did everything from Volume 1 all the way to 42, all 519 chapters.
Well, they kind of pulled a Funimation where they started over here, and then they went back and did this over here, and then they did this, and then they kind of filled in the holes, and then they looped back around again. And
well, they're like, we're going to start with Dragon Ball Z, and there may be plans for Dragon Ball. And then when they released the very first volume of Dragon Ball Z, boom, they gave you all of Dragon Ball.
Meanwhile, everything was done and ready to go, clearly, for about 5 years.
Oh, God.
Well, not 5 years. I forget the time.
No, well,
maybe it was 5 years. Was it 2009?
2006.
No, it wasn't 2006.
I have a website. I can look it up.
Someone wrote about it in their review, and I'm going to go check there. June 2009 is when they started, sir.
Damn it.
I was correct.
9/6, whatever.
Just turn it upside down.
That's what I do.
So the full color will be continuing print in Japan. We do know that the Cell arc will be 6 volumes and the Boo arc will be 6 volumes. We know those are coming. They said these 3 are coming and then more details to follow.
And there'll be 6 volumes each for each arc. And oddly enough, the last volume will have been released almost exactly a year from when this next volume comes out.
The Frieza arc, yeah.
Yeah,
it's been a while. They're also increasing the price a little bit, but I mean, not too surprised. Do you think this was because they want to put it out before Viz? Did it do okay? It was tough because there was such a long period of time between the Saiyan, the Frieza arc, and now this stuff. And those were what they were, but they were also a lead up to Battle of Gods. I mean, there was all the Toriyama Q&A stuff and even tidbits about Battle of Gods. And then Battle of Gods came out and it's like, okay.
it just makes a lot of sense for them to do it at this point.
You got Kai coming.
Just because Kai is coming back, and it's a really nice tie-in.
Well, doesn't this bring it back to the problem with Kai the first time around was that all the merchandise was just the same old merchandise. Full color comic, it may be in color, but it's still just the comic.
But it's also only 12 issues.
I guess.
So it's not like it's a whole lot.
I know. I really hope they have something else up their sleeve.
I do too.
Because I wouldn't say that this could be disastrous, but this is not going to entice the new fans. I mean, they already have the manga passed down from the parents and their older siblings.
To me, will entice completists.
Yeah, it's for us.
And that may be about it. And I think even it was kind of funny when they advertised it. Julian caught it. I didn't even catch it at first, but they...
Oh, yeah.
they put down the wrong number of volumes for, was it the Frieza arc?
Yeah, they said the Frieza arc was 6 volumes. It's only 5, though.
So that was kind of funny. Like, they're not even paying attention to themselves.
They're not.
They just want to get these things out the door.
This is how unimportant it is to Shueisha that they're not even writing the right number of volumes.
Hey, Bob, how many volumes was this arc? I think it was 6. Yeah, because these ones are 6 too. Okay, I'm going to go with that.
I love how you think there's a guy named Bob working at Shueisha.
Okay, Bob. Bob. That? Bob is my go-to.
I'm with you there. I use Bob a lot. Heath?
Yes.
Vegito.
I shook my head so hard at this. I think I gave myself whiplash.
Really? Because I just looked at the photo Julian sent me and I said, well, why not?
I agree with a lot of people that posted comments on this. I've just given up. I love Heroes. Don't get me wrong. I love Heroes. But basically everyone's going to have every single flippin' transformation ever by the time this is all said and done.
You want to talk about a bargain sale? This is the bargain sale. Super Saiyan 3 flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
Can't keep it in stock. Even Vegeta was like, I got to get me that.
And how many characters are just skipping straight past Super Saiyan 2? Yeah, long hair, that looks good.
Well, no, Bardock has Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is just kind of like...
So it's only a matter of time before he's Super Saiyan 4. God.
So yes, Vegito as a part of Jaco Ryu Mission, Evil Dragon Mission 3, JM3.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
All right, I hate you all. It's now getting Super Saiyan 3. Of course he is.
There's a fun backstory to that, but yes. So Super Saiyan 3, it's happening.
Why not? Why not, Heath? Why not?
Eventually, it just goes to show that Dragon Ball Heroes literally can last forever because now it sets the bar.
Wait. Can it? Because
every character, because now they can all get Super Saiyan 4. And then everyone eventually can just become gods.
They will run out. They will run out of science and they will run out of transformations. It'll take a while, but they will run out.
But they can create like elite science.
They can just do more fusions, like Baby and Janemba together again.
I don't know.
That's where we're heading.
It's really weird to watch some of the gameplay where all of a sudden you transform all of your characters to Super Saiyan 3 and they're all taking on...
I know.
You know, like Android 18. Like, what? Yep. We need all these Super Saiyan 3s because we need more hit points so we can actually win. Why?
Because cards.
I know. That's the gist of it all.
Heroes is doing really well.
It is. Somebody had to come on here and play Devil's Advocate, okay?
I don't even know what to say. Because nothing in here surprises me anymore.
No, it really doesn't.
I don't even have negative feelings about it. I'm just like, okay, sure, let's go.
Maybe someday I will be in that boat. I like what they're doing, and then at the same time, I just hit my head against the desk and go, what are they doing?
So something, I see Super Saiyan Prime in our forum constantly tossing this out there, and I don't disagree, saying his quote is, it is extremely creatively bankrupt. I completely agree 100%. At the same time, it's making money.
That's what I was just going to say. If it's paying the bills and the kids are buying it, whatever.
If this can help fund other experiments, like I even consider Battle of Z an experiment. If it can help us do other new things, I'm kind of all for it.
All I say, as long as it stays its own separate thing and out of my main series, then that I don't have an issue.
Oh, you're one of those people. Keep this out of my holy series.
No, it's just, I just treat it as its own separate thing.
And it is. It totally is.
Exactly.
We got to talk about Kai now.
Do we?
But before we talk about Kai, we need to talk about this.
Fight with courage, fight with honor, fight on Dragon Ball Z. Fight with power, fight with
So Link Dude took it upon himself to answer one of, seriously, the most important long-standing questions we have ever had in Dragon Ball fandom, and that is, who was the vocalist on Get That Dragon Ball from Funimation's 1995 dub of the TV series? Turns out that Peter Bering composed it. We knew that, but the performance was from a one Mr. Dave Steele. So Link Dude was like, all right, does Dave Steele have a website? Yep, he does. Oh, so the theme song to the theoretical Ocean dub of Kai is up on this page.
You mean the dub that does not exist but does?
Right. We've had these two levels of Dragon Ball Kai vaporware. Number one was the fact that it was continuing into the Majin Buu arc, which it's a real thing. Now we know it's a real thing. Ocean dub, lols.
Total lols.
But this is almost the first real public sort of confirmation other than just people talking about it in a theoretical sense. Here is a tangible thing that was produced for that thing.
I was amazed it was even on his page.
And it's been up there since September, and it's just no one found it because it was just a thing called Dragon Ball Z Kai on a page for a dude that sings songs. He's just primarily a studio musician. He lends his vocal credits. You can hire him to do stuff, and he's obviously been doing stuff for 20 plus years, going back even further. So Heath, what do we say? I mean,
I'm trying not to laugh.
This goes back to the podcast. It was Voice Print with Trevor Duvall. When we first really got information about this, it was it Kirby M that was on there talking about how he re-auditioned for, I don't know if it's Moro or Moreau, so I just call him Kirby M. He had to re-audition for his role of Goku, and they said he was too cool sounding, and that's when we started hearing about a lot of recasts for, apparently, yes, they acknowledged that it was being dubbed in Texas, but they were doing their own version as well separately, being recorded up there in Vancouver. We censored a lot of things that Frieza was being recast over in there as well, kind of mirroring the Funimation dub. But it's been years, man, and there's still nothing to show for it. And then there were quotes about, well, they wanted to wait for the entire thing to be done. And then there was this Buu arc hanging over everyone, so they're waiting for that as well. I continue to ask this question, and we'll get to this momentarily. Is the Buu arc of Kai even relevant here 5 years later? But before we get to that, Heath, your thoughts on Fighting with Courage?
Great song.
Is it?
I want a full length.
I do too. I can't even be mad about this anymore, this kind of stuff.
No, I can't. I'm not at all. When we got this email, I think it was like a Saturday morning or something like that, and I just like almost fell out of bed when I read it on my phone. Yep. I was like, you've got to be shitting me. And sure enough, I listened to it. I said, this is pure gold. This is gold.
Is it because we're just older? And apathetic is not the right word. It is absolutely incorrect. No. But this is so different from the leak of Step Into the Grand Tour, when I'm pretty sure I threw quite a few F-bombs in my news update that day.
Yeah.
Very, very different. Is it because it's not... I don't want to say rap is stupid, because I am of the G-Funk era. I'm not dissing rap. In my Dragon Ball, while Gohan is crawling along the ground armless, not necessarily the right place for the music. This is hokey and hysterical.
Exactly. It's one of those things that it's so funny that you can't help but not watch. You got to stand there and go, wow, somebody did this.
I can't wait. I hope this is the real thing. I can't wait.
It has to happen now. That's all I'm convinced of.
So Heath, how about that Buu arc?
How about it?
That's the thing now.
Now that it's a thing, maybe we can finally get this dub out.
Let's actually start here. So By now, you all know, yes, Kai is continuing into the Buu arc. We've known for a while. Thank you, Mayumi Tanaka. So I tossed out there on Twitter, are you looking forward to the return of Dragon Ball Kai this year? What about it are you excited for? If not, why? Here's the really interesting thing. This is us tweeting this out here, Kanzenshuu. You know what our focus is here on the site. I'm surprised, yet I'm not surprised at all at what these responses are. So I kind of want to go through a few here. First one actually hitting us up, Steve Yurko from over on the One Piece podcast. I'm just looking forward to the dub and hoping the new music isn't too jarring. This is going to be a recurring theme in these responses.
I've heard that a lot from people over the past couple weeks, even on our forum.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just like, all I care about is I want to know what the dub's going to be like. Because I think for one of the first times in the franchise, especially in North America, it was, we're going to get something consistent from the start to the end. A lot of the casting to most people was done correctly. They liked everything about it. Original music.
Yeah, thanks, Yamamoto.
It's like, there you go. That's what we need. And then, yeah, the whole music debacle just completely screwed North America.
Consistency. But, yeah, okay.
Whatever.
All right, so I want to do a couple more here, and we'll kind of flip back around. Joe, Buddy Tanuki, Funimation's dub. DBZ K is the only way I watch DBZ in English, and now it'll be complete. Insert Kai ain't DBZ argument here. Kieran says, nope, because it was supposed to end at the Cell Games. My uncle works for Toriyama and wrote the Kanzenshuu. And that is how you get yourself uninvited from this podcast. No, I'm just kidding. We'll hear from Kieran soon with the Battle of Z review. Let's see. Demon Core, agreed. Kai is Funimation's second chance at a good dub. The Japanese version just seems unnecessary and redundant. I'd only be excited for the Japanese version if they didn't reuse Z's old footage and it was a completely new animation. You know, you go back to my review back when Kai was first starting, kind of my general thesis at the time as I reviewed Funimation's release was the dub needed it far more than the Japanese version ever did. Japan didn't need Kai at all. The home release had only just come out for the first time ever through the boxes and then the singles, and everyone had just finished buying them within the last 2 years. And yeah, Kai was the 20th anniversary, but they had already been celebrating for a few years. And for what everyone has already said here, a dub, I don't want to say was a necessity, but it certainly made far more sense.
Then Soulful Chris jumped in and said, I'll see y'all in another 20 years.
I think for the exciting new celebrations.
And I think that may be a lot of people.
All right, so Heath, the news itself is, yeah, Dragon Ball Kai is coming back for the Boo arc. It starts in April. I thought it wasn't going to air on TV.
Surprise, surprise.
Are we really surprised? Because, I mean, she said that, and at that time, maybe that made sense, but I felt like the longer it went, it's like, no, you're totally going to put this on TV.
Well, but she also, and we're talking about Tanaka Mayumi, and she also said in that post that they told them that they weren't going to put it on TV, but they all want it to be on TV. So you kind of knew, I think.
It was heading there.
It was headed that way. Whether it was going to be right now, I think the original plan was to do international and then come back and maybe at some point it would be on TV. But the slow demise of Toriko has just opened a giant chasm in Fuji TV that they need to fill.
Right.
And when you have a show that's pretty much almost entirely already produced,
right.
Everything's already recorded, and it's just sitting there about to ship out to North America,
presumably,
you kind of go, hey, maybe we should use that, especially since we got higher ratings with it.
Yeah, I mean, people have rightfully pointed out that Toriko didn't do bad in ratings, but our point is a rehash of an old show did better in ratings.
Yes. Than a brand new show that's currently in serialization in Weekly Shonen Jump.
So Kai is restarting April 6th. It's taking back its time slot back into the Dream 9 slot or alongside its buddy One Piece.
It's like this weird justification, but not. Does that make any sense?
Kai is just the weirdest son of a bitch.
It really is. I am personally excited to have it back just because
Are you?
It will give something every week.
I was thinking about that.
And that's about it.
Like, yeah, that's going to be cool. Wait, that means we got to keep up with all the news updates, and there's going to be eye catches, and maybe there'll be more insert songs, and there's going to be new music, so there's going to be more soundtrack. God damn it.
Yep. It's more fun for us.
It's that cycle all over again.
That's the only thing that kind of has me a little excited. I think it's the webmaster.
Oh my God, you are Goku. You're looking at this challenge ahead of you and you're like, I'm terrified, but I'm pretty excited at the same time.
I've already had tweets from people who are like, I'm just going to sit back and watch you guys handle this on a week-to-week basis. I'm like, I'm getting ready.
There will be a complete meltdown at some point, probably around April 7th.
I was thinking to myself the other day, I'm like, since it's been over 2 years, I gotta figure out like all my old resources that I used and like,
I know.
Like, damn it. All right, bookmarks, please don't fail me.
That's the thing is this cycle feels so long ago. And yeah, I mean, it did start 5 years ago. That's kind of a long, I mean, a lot of websites don't last 5 years.
It's what's kind of ironic, I guess, is that it started on its 20th anniversary and then went to the wayside.
Right.
And then now it's back 5 years later on its 25th anniversary.
Yeah, I guess we should say it's the 25th anniversary of the Dragon Ball Z anime TV series, and this year will also be the 30th anniversary of the entire franchise, going back to the manga proper.
Back to 1984.
What else is there to say? I mean, it was announced, and I'll put that in air quotes, in this month's issue of V-Jump.
V-Jump.
Which is because it's February, so that's the April issue of V-Jump. And of course, all that stuff leaks a couple days early. But then V-Jump's own website on the next info page had a splash image.
It actually updated before Toei updated.
It did. It was like, yep, it's starting on April 6th at this time. I'm like, oh, okay then.
So what did we do? Because we are great webmasters, Mike ran to his computer and we basically typed up the entire post like an entire day ahead of time.
Yep.
Because we knew it was coming.
Oh, man. They just left the image up there for days.
I know.
Okay. I guess
it was hilarious.
I guess we're doing this now.
So, yeah, it became a thing. And, yeah, it's going to have... I can't believe that it's coming back April 6th.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just so soon. Because what was it? One day you and I sat down. We were going over some of Toriko's numbers.
Yeah, you were kind of projecting... May that we might get to.
If that was
going to be
into June.
Really?
Yeah, and it was just like at the pace they're going. So either they're going to end whatever current story arc they're in, they're going to end it early.
Yeah, skip stuff,
or they're going to like jam pack 5 chapters an episode.
Man,
so
even Kai didn't do that.
No. So it's kind of going to be interesting to see what they do. But then it's really funny to see it happen to the Toriko fandom, kind of like it happened to Dragon Ball, where I have just out of mere curiosity gone to other forums and message boards, and people are like, well, so is it canceled? Is it on hiatus? Are they moving it to a different channel? It's like, welcome to 3 years ago. It's like, I feel like everything they're typing is what we typed. So
yeah.
It's just really, really weird to have this happen.
There's kind of nothing else to say. I mean, this is just the first announcement. And we're at the point now in the news cycle. Okay, it's been announced. We're still waiting on a formal website update, but we're going to start getting things like they got to announce the new composer at some point.
Yeah. Well, my question, one of the first things I thought of was, well, the series ended a little prematurely because of the earthquake and tsunami. So the 98th episode never aired like originally planned because everything was off by a week and they had already set Toriko's start date. So that was a bonus episode, have you say, that pieced together the Ano Yoichi Budokai and basically Goku and Kaio walking around. So are they actually going to air that to start things off as a leap-in, or are they redoing that episode at all to make it tie in a little better?
Yeah.
That's what I'm really curious to kind of see how they're going to handle that.
I don't know.
Or do they completely skip it?
Their preview of the Afterlife tournament was like, man, there's a lot of strong guys out there. Wouldn't it be cool for Goku to go do this?
I mean, I think it would work the way it is.
I think they can just leave it as is and not even address it. Yeah.
So, but I'm kind of curious, are they even going to air it?
Oh, episode 98?
Yeah.
Nah.
You don't think so? I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
Maybe we should have a little friendly wager on this.
You want to have a gentleman's bet of $1?
Sure.
All right. I bet you that the episode 98 remains a home video exclusive. It's not
okay.
They're not going to pick up there. They're going to start with the Boo arc. Why would they go back to show that stuff?
Well, that's what I was saying is I think what they might end up actually doing is air, what we would consider the 99th episode and then air this after, before, kind of do an hour. I don't know.
Maybe like an hour block, preempt One Piece for the week. No.
I don't know.
No. Now that I think about it, they could do something like that just to celebrate its return to TV, do an hour of Kai.
Because they're also going to be airing for the first time in Japan Battle of Gods.
I don't know.
So it could be an entire just Dragon Ball day of awesomeness.
Especially because it's Kikuchi Kai and we're going to have a new composer. I don't know. It'd be kind of weird.
That's why I'm really torn, because are they going to edit it at all to redo the music? Or they like just that specific episode, episode 98?
No, they're going to go back and rescore for a second time for a third musical score, the entirety of Kai.
Wouldn't that be hilarious though?
I don't think I can deal with that. Because even the Yamamoto stuff, depending on different broadcasts, had 2 different Yamamoto tracks for certain episodes. So there we are. We'll get back into this news cycle as soon as they announce things. Again,
I'm just really intrigued and excited. Has me going. I'm ready.
I hear you.
I'm ready. That first week's gonna hit. I'm gonna go, son of a bitch. Why was I excited for this?
Exactly. All right, we've been going for a while, so I'm not gonna talk about the full color manga. We'll save that for.
Fine, I'll talk about it.
No, let's go read the.
I like it.
I like it. The end. Signed, Hujio.
I think I talked about it the last time on the podcast, but I am still absolutely astounded at how large it is.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
So if you haven't already, go read the review. Look at the pictures. It's really cool. And if you haven't picked it up already, I highly recommend it.
Here's your short review. Looks gorgeous. I'm concerned about the binding. It's the old translation. The end. So, Heath, most important question this episode.
Who's that character?
Now, last time we did this, and I knew this was going to happen, but I wanted to leave it in there anyway. I like giving people a little extra hint if they need it. The character did say something about fusion. And it does seem like it's GT related, so that was indeed a one Mr. Hidekatsu Shibata as Ishinran, the 1-star dragon, toward the end of Dragon Ball GT. One of my favorite voice actors who doesn't have super primary roles in Dragon Ball. I know him mostly from other stuff, although he was King Chappa.
There are a lot of really good voice actors in Dragon Ball that only had minor roles.
I think you and I talked about this earlier this month, the last episode we did. And I know we name dropped Megumi Hayashibara and some of the other folks that come in to do, if not one-off characters and kind of like minor guest appearances. Yeah.
It was the shit of its time. And you could totally tell because everybody wanted a piece of that.
So Shibata, you, if you're part of the, I'm going to call it the Shonen Holy Trio because you go back to D-O-N. Who's the D, who's the O, who's the N. You know him as Sarutobi in Naruto. And then I know he's on a bunch of people in One Piece, but Dragon was the first one that I knew him as. Dragon? No, come on, Heath. Dragon. Rock the wagon.
Dragon Ball Kai.
Here we go. This the game that we play here, Who's That Character, is I play a clip. You guess who it is based on the context, based on whatever you can. We like to know, who do you think it is? Where do you think this scene is from? You don't win anything in particular. It's just fun for your own personal pride. So that was last time here on the show. Here is the clip this time on the show. And then one more time, hear that again. Love to hear your thoughts. Heath, you see who it is on the outline. I don't want to hear anything out of you, sir.
Well,
nothing.
I will just say
Okay, say something.
That if people get this correctly, and I mean, even if it's just one person, you will have my admiration.
There you go. Heath, let's bring this show here to a close. I'm glad we finally got a chance to gather our thoughts. Come back to a show a little laid back, a little conversational, taking the news as it comes. We got lots of topics coming.
The Kai news broke. I just said, Mike, when are we podcasting? When is this going to happen? And he said, hey, some point. I said, well, that's fine. I'm really comfy on my couch right now.
That's right. That's right. Like, I forgot about that. Me too. So let's talk about what's going on the website. I already talked about that full color review, something that Julian and I worked on for a really long time. I think more than even reviews I post, this is something that had the most edits to it.
I was going to say all the iterations that
so
happened.
So many.
It's just, I watched from the sideline and I was nauseous.
We put up an article, what is the name of the God of Destruction? Worked on this for a really long time. I mean, if you listen to the show, you know our policy at Kanzenshuu. I mean, this is mostly in recent times because Dragon Ball is old and we kind of already know everything about all the characters. But the way we do it is until we have a solid factual confirmation of a name pun source, we usually go with a straight up romanization. If you go back and listen to the episodes, you hear us saying Birusu because that's the direct kana and we don't know what it's a pun on. We had theories, but we didn't want to say for sure. So this article dives into everything about it. Stuff you've already read if you check out the movie guide page, but I use a lot of other examples. I went to Mary's old fan subs and dug up the fan sub of DBZ Movie 3 because I think that is one of the best correlations for the nonsensical Bill's spelling. I think that's the one that's changed a few minds because you look at that and you're like, yeah, none of us call him Taurus. Of course, that's not his name.
I was really happy to see you go all the way back to that.
Man, it took some digging. I was in the dungeon. I was in the garage. I was behind the cat litter. I found it.
I figured it'd be closer to your heart.
I keep Mary's Movie 3 fan sub close to my heart? No.
Yes. You don't just keep it under your pillow?
No, I don't. What else we got going on the website? I know you and I were talking earlier. We have a crap ton of projects that are going on.
We have a lot of super secret hush-hush projects.
We do. I'm kind of in review mode, which is why it's part of the reason why podcasts haven't been going on is I have been playing a lot of Battle Z. Yes, I've been playing Final Fantasy, but there's a lot
we won't talk about that.
There's a lot of writing going on.
Yes. A lot of writing. I hope people like words because we have a lot of those coming.
Do you want to tease anything? What do you got?
Well, you know, the biggest thing we've talked about before is the wiki. So I've been working on that.
Yep.
It's coming along well. I think we're getting close to maybe having some beta testers, but you know, we'll see because every time I feel like I'm getting close, then I work on a different project.
Yeah.
And yeah. Then Julie and I this is a project that I've probably been working on for about 10 years. I've had so many iterations of it. It's crazy. And having Julian with his resources, finally, it's all coming together. And I am so happy. I can't even express it, but that will be on the website hopefully soonish because we've actually been putting a lot of time into it. It involves a library and Julian taking a train to go there to look stuff up.
Yeah, Julian made reservations for particular materials at the prefectural library in Osaka.
It's something we've been talking about for months. And finally, he's just like, one night we were talking, he's like, I'm going to do it next week. It's like, okay.
If you like in-depth research, man, we got you covered.
I don't think I've ever done so much research about one topic ever. It's insane. And then on top of that, I have a project I'm actually working on with Jake.
Cool.
So that's kind of nice.
Cool.
And then, you know, just general site news upkeep. It's just been really busy because everything ties together. Oh, I've also been trying to prep for Dragon Ball Kai. Getting the rest of our Dragon Ball Z episode pages ported over. If anybody's paid attention, I just today put up 10 more, so we're slowly getting there. I'm hoping to get all of the Cell arc done before Kai starts.
Every week, are you going to do animation comparisons with all the reanimated scenes and all the comparison screenshots? Remember how that killed you 5 years ago?
Yeah, and I didn't have a son then either, or a full-time job. I was still getting my master's degree, so I don't know.
It was, I mean, we still had separate sites at that time. It was hysterical to watch from the sidelines and be like, and this is the point that broke Heath. This is when he stopped doing this.
I think you could follow me along, and there literally was a day where I just said, oh my God, I'm done.
It was about halfway through the Scion arc, wasn't it?
We went all the way through the Scion
Did you do those all the way through?
16 episodes.
Oh, that's right. I was going to say around episode 16, but that was the entirety of the Scion arc. That's right.
Yeah. And then we just said, you know what? We got the entire Scion arc done. I can't do this anymore.
No.
All the editing was insane. It was really fun. I'm really glad I did it. No one should ever know that much about single episodes.
Frames of single episodes.
Yes.
You know what my favorite part of the TV broadcast of Kai was the next episode preview with the Kikoho with the layer effect turned off.
That was the funniest thing I had ever seen. And if you weren't paying attention, you'd never notice. But if you go through frame by frame, it's only in, I think, like 2 or 3 frames.
It looks like a special effect on top of it, but if you know Adobe programs, you can tell that that's the checkered nothingness background layer of, whoops, there's supposed to be something on top here.
There's supposed to be something here, but now somebody shut it off and forgot to turn it back on.
That was awesome. And they fixed, what was it, the spelling of ice or something in the lyrics after the first episode?
Oh,
what word was that?
First, they misspelled Kame-sen's Sato
Masaharu.
Masaharu.
They spelled his name wrong.
They spelled his name wrong, so they fixed that.
Okay.
And then there was a lyric.
Yeah, there was a lyric.
That was in English.
I think it was a C and then S were transposed.
It was something like that.
I forget what word it was. Yeah, man, that's the stuff you remember. It's weird. We're done here.
Are we?
Yep.
I was just looking it up.
I have no idea when this episode will go out because I do have a busy week ahead of me, but this was a great episode. I'm glad to catch up with you, dude.
Yeah, it's been, paradise.
That's it. Yep.
And yeah, they spelled it.
I was right. I thought it was ice.
Yep. There you go.
Heath, what I want to leave you with, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If you would like to play Final Fantasy XIV with some cool people,
yes.
What you want to do is you want to buy the game. You can buy it on PC. You can buy it on PS3. PS4 version is in demo right now. The full version is coming out, I think, in April. What you want to do is you want to buy that game. You want to create your character. And the server you want to play on is Midgard-Sormer. That's what you want to do.
Okay.
And you want to play with us. And let me know. Hit me up. I want to know if you're playing, and I want you on that server. We're going to create a free company, which is like a guild or something. And I'm going to make you shitty low-level armor, and you're going to run around, and I might even give you a horse head to run around with, because I don't know what the fuck to do with them myself. I think I have 4 of them. I don't know.
What do you need 4 of them for?
They're different colors.
Can you leave them in people's beds?
I don't know. If we get enough people and we make enough money, we can actually build a house. So maybe I can do that in the future.
Nice. I'm in.
No, you're not.
But I do want a horse head, though.
I'll take another picture of me in a horse head.
Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. I say a lot of. I don't have a lot of time to play it, but the time that I do play, I'm having a good time. Got some friends signed up on it. I know our buddy Joe, Space Kappa, is going to be joining in on the PS4 version in a little bit. And I hear some other folks are playing. A couple of folks, unfortunately, on different servers. You are all on the wrong servers. You want to be on Midgard-Sormer. That's where you want to be.
I've seen those Twitter battles.
Oh, Heath. Emergency. This just in from Julian.
You just got a text?
Yes, I do. Oh, it's not really an emergency. He's just finally going to get to J-Stars updates.
No. That would have been hilarious. Breaking news live on the podcast a day later.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We need to do this again more often.
I would like to. I mean, the idea is it's a weekly podcast, but when you have kids, not that I do, but other folks do.
Well, you have kids, sort of.
I guess one of them is as large as one.
Yes.
Oh, Jasmine, I think I'm going to have to kick her out of the house because she broke one of my Dragon Box Scouters.
No.
Yeah, I think I gotta give her the boot. I think we're done.
What does Mary have to say about that?
She was like, "Can't you super glue it back together?" And it's, it's you know the Scouters. It's where the ear plastic piece comes around. That piece, the part that goes into the more solid piece, where you can kind of like adjust. Yeah. You can adjust its length. It broke off, so part of it is still inside that piece, and that's like the thinnest part of the plastic. So I don't know that I can do it.
You can try.
She's been stealing things and hoarding them and hiding them. If you leave anything out, the other day, I'm upstairs and I hear this like clink, clink, clink. Clink, clink, clink. I look downstairs. She's doing loops around the bottom floor with my earbuds in her mouth. They're just trailing behind her like, so.
I love cats.
Yeah.
When they're other people's.
Yep. So your son is stealing your food. My cat is stealing my shit.
Yeah. Well, I've trained my son to not go near my shelf. But he's allowed to go other places. He pushes all of our DVDs all the way back. Does he? So, because I'm OCD, I have them all out around the end, and they're perfectly lined up in alphabetical order.
Next thing you know, he's going to be putting one out of alphabetical order just to fuck with you.
Oh, but it's fun.
Good.
I mean, one day he did go, what was he trying to get? One of my Kanzenshuu. He was trying to get off the shelf.
And you're like, no, sir, you will not.
And I'm like, no. And my wife is, on the couch across the room. Good job. Grab the other one. Like, really?
Yep.
That's what I have to struggle with.
So Heath, www.kanzenshuu.com.
You can also find us on all sorts of social media. Hit us up.
Yep.
Also pay attention, because right before we podcast, we usually send something out. Maybe we're going to be live podcasting. You never know.
Maybe we just want your thoughts on Kai. We got stuff. Sometimes I post it up every place. Sometimes I choose. Today I chose Twitter. You never know. Follow us everywhere. If you want, we don't normally say this, but at VegettoEX, at Hujio, you can talk to us there too.
Yeah. At Herms98, at Saya Jedi.
That's right.
You can hit them up.
Talk to everyone. I want to talk to you about Final Fantasy XIV. Don't talk to me about Dragon Ball.
I never would.
Thank you, sir. We're done. Wrap it up.
All right. Sounds good. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I think me too.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.